All right, so let's get into this leatherworking thing. So a lot of these recommendations are, I guess, for people that don't do or are fairly new players. If you're one of the newer players that came through Steam, then you might get a few tips here or there. So Adam had recently changed from his faux priest, and he transferred to a Vin priest so that we could start getting the benefits of COC. And so you've been doing some amazing channel grinding with Vessel and the Morning Fog that you were doing before as a foe.
Right.
And he finally got us some new tools. So I was excited about this part. But let me just take a look. So I have some leatherworking tools. Oh, I should probably drop the ones that I don't need anymore. So this one I don't need. Oh, you got a full forge apparently. Okay.
Yeah. I
put them in here.
Need to clean it out a little bit. I'm a little bit in a mess right now.
All right, so I'm dropping this leather knife. He gave me. You can see that each one now has 59 COC on it. I wonder if that's still the case. 59, yeah. He also gave me an awl that has 49 COC. And each COC, is that a percentage or is that another calculation?
I'm pretty sure it's a straight up percentage increase. So if you have 50 COC, then each skill tick that you get will be increased by 50%.
Yeah. And I think at this level, like in the 80s, it helps a lot to have as many of your tools have that COC on it.
And it's multiplicative with sleep bonus. So you'll get the 50% more skill gain, and then whatever that gives you, you'll get double that when you...
Oh, you think so?
When you have sleep bonus. Oh, yeah. So, like... Yeah. A lot of things in this game are multiplicative. Like, similar with the affinities are multiplicative. Sleep bonus.
I thought it was just one at a time. Like the first...
No.
You get double the experience, and then you take that, and then you have to times that
50%
by...
50% more.
50% more. And then you take that, and then you have to times that by... And that's less. So you end up getting less.
No. Both of those will give you the same amount. If you multiply something by 2, and then you multiply something by 1.5 after.
Oh, I guess I was meaning... Is that the same as if you added up all of the percentages into one big percentage? Like I get 59% from this needle, but then I also get...
Plus 100.
100, so I get 159%.
Yeah, that's not right.
Okay.
It's not that.
Yeah.
It's 59%, then you multiply again by 100%, and that actually works out to be better.
Right. So this is the first thing that I was really excited about. The only thing I don't think is possible, and correct me if I'm wrong, there wouldn't be a reason to put COC on leather. Not that there isn't a reason, but that it would be really annoying to do.
Really annoying to do. I could do it, but you can't combine leather.
I can't.
So leather is only 3 kilograms. So like, I mean, I guess I can ask you, like, how long does a 3 kilogram
not very long
piece of leather last?
1 second, maybe. A part of a session.
So like, it might be worth it in the sense that like I can just cast and randomly hit something, right? Just randomly, and it's not that much of a waste to give a cast if you have a handy Benora priest.
Well, let's take a look. So I don't have any leather, so I'm going to make myself a few pieces of leather. Adam.
Yay! I'm on the path.
Oh, you did it.
Level 6.
Nice. Yeah. Adam made some lye based on the ash that we have, because I guess one of your characters is trying to get natural substances up, which is what it takes. So I'm going to take my lye. Up here I've got my hides. Let's take a look at what I've got. So I've been using my 50 quality ever since we did that hunting trip. We got a number of hides. I now have 38 54 quality hides. Let me make maybe 3. Let's see what I get.
Yeah, and Amethyst, I'm not sure about being okay. So you're saying two things. One was the COC being above 100. Like, is 101 COC still 100% increase? I'm not sure about that. I would have assumed it was 101 increase, but I don't know. I don't know the exact answer. And after sleep bonus doubles and then sweet spot doubles again, I think so. So I think it's actually the other way around. It's that the sweet spot will double your skill gain, and then sleep bonus doubles it again. Yeah.
Now, in saying that, Adam's a huge proponent in that the sweet spot over the same amount of time as not using the sweet spot would not give you.
Okay, let's not take this out of context here, because we can talk about this, because I'm pretty I kind of get the sense that sweet spot imping works best when you have access to really high quality tools and your skill is not low. Like, I may try it again now that my blacksmithing's at 65 just to see what happens now. But when my blacksmithing was like in the 20s, sweet spot imping was not better than just queuing. And I did several tests of this. Several tests of this. And the reason was because you fail a lot more when you're low level with low quality tools, and that results in less skill ticks in general. And then the other thing is that when you're doing sweet spot imping, you have to be really focused. Every time that your action ends and your stamina bar refreshes, you have to be like right there continually every 12 seconds. And I found that hard to keep up in practice for like hours. You're doing this for hours, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe the first half hour you're fine, but then once, like after a little bit of time, you start missing it, or you start hitting it too early, and these sorts of things start happening. And like with queuing up actions, like you can queue up and like look away for a few minutes, and then like sure, if you miss it by a few seconds, like it's not going to make that much of a difference overall in your queuing, right? So yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, nothing.
Okay, yeah.
So Amethyst, you're saying
Sounded like you had
Raybark
something to say.
tried it, I'm guessing, over a long period of time, and then got some better gains of some kind. and Northlees, you're saying that you just find that high quality, high COC just pouring out imps mindlessly. Yeah, I mean that's the simplest way to do it, and you can do that for longer periods of time without getting sort of fatigued.
Did I
I
not
wonder
make
how much
myself more
focus
rope
you'd have to
making?
do. Okay, so I made 3 leathers that are 54 quality, and I'll let you COC them. Let's see what happens.
Like, I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure that at my skill now, if I had access to 90 quality blacksmithing tools, and that were all 90 quality, I'd say. If I had access to 90 quality blacksmithing tools, I probably would, my guess would be that sweet spot imping would give me faster skill gain per unit of time than queuing up. But my prediction would be that it would be marginally better, like very close. It'd be close, but not that much better. And even in that situation, like unless I'm getting like 50% more skill gain, I'm not going to waste my time with the sweet spot imping, simply because of how hard it is to get yourself set up for it. And secondly, it's like you have to be focused. Every 12 seconds, you have to start the next action like right away. I don't think I can keep that up long period of time.
Hey cats, how are you doing today?
Hey cats, what's going on?
I mean, with sweet spot imping, you're talking about it's basically impossible to do on fairly new servers, because you're saying you have to be
Right.
imping items higher level than what you potentially can or what you can create. You need to have
Right.
already done the level grind on a character. Get that character to create the items for you.
Right. Yeah.
And
You
this
need
is
to get
more
high quality things.
So yeah, we're leaving it off the table. So far I've shown that Adam has created me a new set of tools for leatherworking. Got me some half decent casts on them. So with that done, and actually I didn't realize that your priest is not online. You don't have to log on your priest.
Yeah, I
made myself some leather, which is good, about 50 quality. I find that 50 quality is decent. I'd wish I had more like 70 quality. I don't have enough 70 quality hide, so I'm just sticking here. And how are you doing, Wolfmare? And Wormaholic, how are you doing? Hello, how are you?
Hey, Wormaholic.
So I'm just setting up for leatherworking and trying to provide at least some tips for people that haven't maybe played Wurm for too long. So next thing that I do is Adam has created some affinity food for me. So I'm definitely going to make sure that my CCFP is at 100 and that I have the leatherworking, the affinity buff.
How's your sleep bonus? Is your sleep bonus bar full? Or you got
it's at 4 hours, so it's not too bad. Okay, so to do this, let's see. Look at all these pizzas that he's made. Mine's all the way down here, so I'm just going to take a nice bite.
You know, the pizzas take a while to put together. I spent quite a bit of time on them. But once they're made, they last for a long time.
Yeah. So there, one bite gives me 2 hours and 40 minutes, so that's good enough for me in this session.
Right.
I'll just take some generic pizzas here to just top that off, and then actually what I'm going to do, if I have it, do I have my refresh? I do have my refresh, so pop that refresh. There we go. It's as good as it's going to get. So food done. Leather is done. And I'm ready to do my imping. So I've got my tool belt here. All of my tools are good. Yeah, I also have a mallet that he cast on. All right, so here's my coffin filled with leatherworking items. I'm going to take these belts, and the goal here is that I already have them to 70, and I'm just going to slowly try to push them to 80, which does take a little while because I don't have the optimal setup. We have the setup that we can do our best in, which means that my tools are much lower level than my skill, because we can't get higher level tool. And the leather I'm using is lower level, so I'm going to get more fails than normal, but I'll get a good amount of skill. So let's keep my skill here so people can see.
Yeah, it would definitely be optimal if I could get those tools up higher. I'll keep working on my black.
Yeah. So I'm not doing anything special here. I've got 15 tool belts, and I'm going to queue up my 4 actions. So I'm very glad that I have the ability to queue 4 now. And then I wait to queue up the 5th one. And that's just because I'm determined that I have just enough stamina to do 5 actions. So you'll kind of see my stamina go all the way down to maybe here, and then it ends.
If you increase your food bar up to full,
you
know, like you just eat, you have full CCP.
Just did that, yeah.
I feel like there's like a bonus to, it's either the amount of stamina you have or it reduces the amount of stamina that you use. I'm not sure. But see if you can squeeze in that 6th action right now.
I might be able to squeeze in a 6th action, but I don't know if I want to.
Okay, maybe you might not want to, but I'm curious to know when that bonus happens, or when we lose that bonus. And Raid Wiper. Hey guys, it's Raid Wiper. How's it going?
Wiper. Today, I just got set up to do some leatherworking, so I just can do the sixth. I just can do the sixth action without losing it. If you're looking at what I'm doing, it's not potentially might not even be. Let me do that again. Anything different than maybe what you do, but what I'm actually doing here. So I'm staying a little cognizant about my COC casts. So if you remember, my needle and the leather knife has the highest cast, and my awl has a lower cast. Same with
this. Everybody listen to this tip, because this tip is going to increase your skill gain.
So my awl and my mallet have a slightly lower cast, and then my leather has no cast. So what I'm actually doing here is, if I can, because I have a lot, I'll use leather first. So if I have like something that needs to imp to leather, I'll try to get that out of the way in my first imp before, and then in my second or third one, I'll see if I have too many mallets or awls that I need to imp, and then I keep for the very last two at least. I will be imping my like a needle or a leather knife item. Then this is to just simply maximize the amount of skill gain, because you get more skill gain when you have less stamina. And if I get a skill tick with an item that has a higher COC, I will hopefully maximize the amount of skill gain that I get. Now, Adam can correct me if I'm wrong here. Or if I said something out of line.
It's not that you said something out of line. It's that I'm not sure if you explained it to the point where people could understand exactly why this is the way to do things. And you can actually drastically increase your skill gain per hour here using this strategy. It's quite effective. And it has to do with the fact, and you said it this way, you said when your stamina is lower, you get more skill gain. But the actual reason is because the action timer is longer. Like, everybody kind of should have noticed that the longer your action timer is for a given action, the more skill gain you're going to get. And that's like some mechanism that they put into the game so that it might encourage you to use longer action timers. Wait, why? I need more water. What the? Oh, that's weird. Okay, anyway. So what you can do is, if you have tools that have Circle of Cunning on them, if you queue up those ones last, then you're going to get a higher skill gain, because you get a percentage increase on how much skill gain you have. And if those last actions have like a longer skill timer, then that percentage increase is going to be that much more. And you use your stuff that doesn't have COC on it first, because those will have the shortest action timers, and therefore, you're not going to get, you won't. If you used your high COC tools on those ones, you're not going to get that much more of an increase on skill, because your skill tick is going to be smaller, right? So, okay, Wolfmare, you do it differently. You sort by tool, so it's easier to pick the items.
So you'd have to just keep sorting by tool every time, after every single time you do your actions.
That's actually not a bad strategy, because it makes it easier to find
in the past. It's just the extra steps I just end up not doing, I must say. Donut Kebab, here's a great question for Adam. But isn't all of this proportional? And what would your response be to that?
It is proportional, but the thing is that let's say we did it the other way around. Let's say we used all of our COC tools on the short action timers, and then the non-COC tools on the long action timers. Okay, then what would happen is that you would get a percentage increase on the short action timers, which would be smaller skill gain. Let's say you get 0.1, and then you have a 50 COC, so now you're getting 0.15, right? And then on the longer action timers, let's say you're going to get 0.2 on the longer action timers, because you double the timer, so it doubles the skill gain, right? But then you don't use a COC on that, then you won't get a skill tick. Like you'll get 0.2 there. If you did it the other way around, so you use the non-COC tool on the 0.1, you'll keep getting 0.1 there. And then you use a 50% increase, like the 50 COC on the 2.2, that's going to increase it by, well, what's 50% of 0.2 is 0.1. So you get an extra, you get 0.3 on that skill gain, right? So altogether, the second way would give you 0.4, and the first way would give you 0.35. Okay, so that extra little bit adds up over the long run.
Yeah, now do that for 5 hours.
Right, and you do that for, like, if you do that every single time for each cycle, and you're doing this, for 5 hours, it really can add up to just the order that you're choosing to do it in can increase your skill gain by whatever that is. I don't know. It could be an extra 20% or an extra whatever it is.
It's just a nice thing to think about if you are planning on doing imping sessions like this anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there's times where like I look at my items and all of them are tools that my I have COC tools on. So I'll just do like a full queue, right? Like, because there comes a point where all of the leather actions are gone. Like you just did them all, and they've all turned to mallet actions and whatever else. What is it? Leather knife actions. And in those situations, you can just queue up all your leather knife actions and get better skill gain overall. But every so often, those leather ones start adding up, and all of them are asking for leather now. And so in those situations, you want to just the first couple actions do the leather actions, and then see if you can do the later ones with your COC tools, and it definitely makes a big difference.
Yeah, so if you're wanting to organize by the imp action item or tool, imp action tool, you would just click this button here. I'm not sure why that's an I. Maybe that's for item. And now
is it good to have high quality COC tools and low quality in high COC? Okay, so yes, Amethyst, this is where it gets confusing to a new player, because you'll hear everywhere like use low quality with high COC, but this is that strategy is only for gathering, like mining and that sort of stuff. For imping, you want to have high quality tools with high COC, and the reason is because you want to increase your chances to succeed the imp. So higher the quality, the better, because when you succeed on an imp, you have a higher chance at getting a skill tick. You can get a skill tick when you fail, but it's definitely less likely that you're going to get a skill tick on a fail.
Yeah, then you run into the situation you're seeing me run into, where most of my items now have reverted to my low items, and I've got to get rid of them.
Items,
low quality items, low COC items. So I just got to kind of get rid of as many as I can.
And Donut Kebab, you're saying, yeah, the order makes a lot of sense for sure. I meant the duration to skill gain is proportional. Okay, so the action timer to skill gain is proportional, yes. But actually the amount of skill gains is limited. So make them as big as possible, right? Yeah. So yes, and you're right, there is a limit. And I think that limit is 30-second action timers. So anything above 30 seconds will not give you any additional skill gain proportionally. But up to 30 seconds will. But yeah, the strategy we're focusing on here is make sure that those higher times, the higher action timers, you're using your high COC tools there. And the lower action timers, use the non-COC tools.
Yeah, and Northleys, you're right.
Yeah.
The most important
do it in a way that
factor,
makes you actually do it.
Yeah, just have fun with it. Just make sure that you are actually enjoying doing it, because if you're not, move to something else.
Which is why I don't see myself ever using the sweet spot imping method, because I feel like I wouldn't be able to keep it up.
Yeah, if it's not as enjoyable, don't do it.
Like I'll turn on a show and I can do this type of imping where I'm queuing up 5 actions and watch the show without worrying too much. Like if I'm idle for 10 seconds, like I'm not too worried because for the next 3 minutes I'm going to be completely going. Yeah, I think
Right,
that the
and-
queuing is just more relaxed.